Hey, this is Ryan Johnson, and I'm going to talk to you about Eagle Talon differences then and now. So this is an Eagle Talon from around 2005, 2006. So this is an early RMJ tactical tomahawk versus the RMJ Forge production that we talked about last time. So this one is 4140. We started out with a 4140 pre-hard, which means the material was already hardened to about 30 Rockwell before we started working it. They were laser cut and hand ground on the outside. They were then CNC ground for the spike with a distal taper and forward edge. And then the beard was CNC machined. And then they were touched up by hand afterwards. So John Hutchison and I were still sharpening and grinding these and profiling them. It was quite a bit of handwork compared to today. Today, we are CNC machining the profile, the forward edge, the beard, the spike. We have a lot more control over the end product, which also makes it to where the sheaths are all interchangeable. We are using 80 CRV2 instead of 4140, and there's a reason for that. Originally, 4140 was chosen because of its tensile strength in the handle. We had back in the early days of Afghanistan, I had a Navy SEAL actually bend the handle on one of these things trying to pry something open. And so we went with 4140, that was a 1075, went to 4140 to increase the tensile strength. But that was with this handle that is skeletonized. This is a skeletonized handle under here because we're still cord wrapping some of them. We went to the 80 CRV2. It still has a really high tensile strength, but it has much better cutting edge retention, right? And so instead of skeletonizing that to help increase the tensile strength, we went with an I-beam construction in the handle. So we actually, there's not a through pocket there. It's actually machined in on each side to give it that I-beam construction. And that actually increases the tensile strength higher than if it were 4140 with the slot. So we were able to get our tensile strength we wanted, and we got the better edge retention with the 80 CRV2. And the 80 CRV2 is really amazing stuff when it comes to impact edge retention. So this is still a good example of distal taper. That edge is much thicker. You can see edge is much thicker, much more obtuse than we have it now. We have the edge way more laid back, which, you know, originally I was looking at strictly breaching with this. This was strictly a breaching edge for me. The beard and the spike were your combative edges. So over time, we've made the forward edge much more versatile by laying that back. The reason we do a distal taper is it's quick in and out. If you see a tomahawk that has a spike that does not go from fat to thin in all directions, you're gonna have a spike that gets hung up and stuff, and that's no good. So as you can see here, I can take this into the drum, hit it, and be out really quickly. And that was, you know, full penetration all the way up to, I guess, about right here, which is quick. Whether you're breaching or whether you're hitting somebody with it, you don't want to get hung up. This handle is different from the newer ones as well. So this handle is a micarta handle, and it is CNC machined. As you can see, it has the cordage down here for extra grip. The CNC machining was much more light back then. We have much more aggressive grip for glove, and so to get that glove grip, I was using the cordage back then for gloved hand use. Back then we were using a standoff spacer in here, just a small threaded barrel spacer, and you had two 832 screws screw into it from either side. I always wanted to change away from that because it is strong, but it's not as strong as it could be. And so now we make our own fasteners. We actually CNC turn them in the shop, and they're my design. And they're overbuilt. so that there's no shearing those fasteners at all. And they also have an oversized Torx fitting on it so that you can, you're not stripping it out trying to put it together. So those are some changes, old and new. The spirit of the Eagle Talon stays the same. It's just every batch we do, we tend to improve it, and this has had years and years and years, since 2001, of iterations and changes to make it better. And it's still near and dear to my heart as, you know, the original.